Okay. Yes. Good afternoon, everybody. Okay. Good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to have everybody on the call. So, while we are waiting for more people to join the call, wherever we are calling from, you're welcome. Wherever we are joining from, everybody is welcome to the second summit of becoming a chartered accountant. We are so happy to have you on the call this evening. Please share the link to your groups, to any relevant group you think your people can benefit from basically. So we're really happy to have everybody on the call this evening. Okay, kindly let us know in the comment section where you are calling from, and also let us know if you attended the last summit. We are waiting for your comments. Kindly comment, share the link far and wide on your WhatsApp status, in your ICAN groups, on any WhatsApp group that you are on that you think people can benefit from basically. Please share the link far and wide. So we'll be waiting for like 2 minutes to have more people join on the call. While we wait, just in the comment section, let us know where you are calling from. Send us your location. How did you get to know about this summit? Just engage with us in the comment section. Basically, we are happy to have everybody on the call this evening. We can't wait to get into the session, right? So we're waiting for your comments. We're waiting for your comment. Please share the link far and wide. Share the link far and wide. Please share the link far and wide. Okay, so BACA is, while we wait for others to join the call, basically, I'll just be doing an introduction of what the summit is all about. So, BACA is becoming a chartered accountant. This summit is organized by BACA in partnership with Growlight. It's a summit where we tell Okay. It's a summit where we inspire, motivate, and give you the how-tos on how to pass your ICAN exams, your ACCA exams, any accounting exams basically, right? So this summit, let us know what your expectations are for this summit as a chartered accountant. Or on your journey to becoming a chartered accountant, what have been your challenges? Let us know. What do you want to gain from this summit? Like, what do you want to take away from this summit, basically? Let's see your comments. We are here because of you. We can't wait to answer your questions. There will be panel sessions, basically. Then also, I'm not only the moderator for today. I'll also be having my co-moderators with me on different sessions, basically, and I will introduce them over time. Then by 4:05, I'll be introducing Sheon on the call. Sheon is the founder of Becoming a Chartered Accountant. He'll come and tell us more about what becoming a chartered accountant is all about, the nitty-gritties, how we came to how we came to how becoming a chartered accountant came to birth, basically. So please drop your comments, share the link, drop your reactions, drop what you want to gain from the class, from the summit, basically. Just engage with us so that we can serve you better on the summit. Then also, if you joined our last summit, what did you take away from our last summit? What have you put in practice? What have you put in place to ensure that you pass your exams? Oh, okay, okay. I'm seeing the comment section. Got to know about the summit from a friend's WhatsApp status. Okay, please also post the link. Post the link, please. Post the link on your WhatsApp status, department group. Thank you. Please post the link. You don't know who you blessed with this. Like, a lot of people are struggling with. Thank you, Sadiq from Nigeria. This is your first experience. Okay, so you're not at our summit last year. Please share the link far and wide. Share the link far and wide, please. Share the link. Like, most of you got to know through somebody, so let somebody to know from you. Thank you. Joining from Aba, Abia State. Wow, we're happy to have you on the call. We're happy to have you on the call. Please share the link, share the link, please. Thank you. Okay, while we are sharing the link, basically, so I'll be introducing okay I'll be introducing I'll be calling on Sean to take up the next introduction of the summit. Sean, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you so much,
Hi,
Linda.
Sean. Yes, you're welcome.
Really good to have you. Thank you. All right,
Hi.
thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. I can see that we have a couple of hundreds of people on YouTube. Thank you so much for joining. It's really good to have everybody here. And just like Oyinla said, I mean, our mission is basically help people to become chartered accountants in the most simple way possible, right? And I mean, big thank you to all our speakers for joining. I mean, some people I just met for the first time, just seeing them for the first time. Some people have, I mean, I met for like 8 years, just connecting with them. So thank you to everybody for joining and everybody. I mean, all the attendees, right? So just feel free to share to your friends, and I'll just talk about what we want to achieve here today before we have our first panel session, right? Which Mary will be joining, right? And I mean, we started last year with the summit, and our topic was, oh, become a chartered accountant at first sitting. And we just thought about it that, oh, I mean, many times people read, but people still fail. So how do we bridge that gap? And we not thought about, okay, you know what? Let's talk about the smarter way for people to become a chartered accountant, right? That means that there's a way that people are doing, right, or are currently involved in, but it's not the best way. I mean, in that way, sometimes they might still fail. But we are saying that let's give you like a foolproof way or strategy to help you to pass your exams, to help you to achieve that dream or that desire that you set to achieve. And that's basically what we're trying to achieve here, right? Really just to help you to get from wherever you are, whether you are struggling. Sometimes you must have even heard fears of, oh, I'm scared about this exam and everything, right? But now we just want to show you how it is done. And now, before we bring up Mary and our next panel session, I just want to talk about like three things I found very interesting. Three things I found very interesting. Right? And the first thing is I discovered that for every problem there's a solution to it, right? I just want you guys to just take note and note that because sometimes you find out that you face some problems that are very hard and you'll be like, is this thing even solvable? But I literally discovered that this anything can be solved. There's a solution for everything, no matter how much you feel, no matter how much experience you've had failing something or not getting something right. And even with ICAN or ACCA to start with, right, you will discover that even as people fail a lot and everything, people still win awards. So you ask yourself, how do people win awards when there's a big problem of failing and everything? From our end, it looks like a 60% problem. Like if 100 people write exams, 60% of people will fail. So the question is, why are we having that, and why are some small set of people, acing their exams, not having any issue with it? So we're here to really just say that what can we learn from them? How can we make sure that um, everything that um, everything that they know how to do that makes them become award winners or excel. How can we adopt that for ourselves? That's what we're trying to do to make it easy. So people don't have to fail. People don't have to go through many hurdles, many writing something 5 times. I mean, we've worked people that have worked writing an exam 7 times, but it's actually not necessary, right? When we can actually find better ways, and that's why we're here. That's why you have some speakers that have been teaching for some years. I've also won awards. They're trying to tell you like the best way to do it and how you should go about it, right? And the next thing that we just thought about was um not even asking us the question that I also realized that second point is a good number of people are written themselves off, right? So that write-off mentality, they feel like they can't do it, right? I remember when I was in uni and NG here is, she's my classmate in uni. Me, I've even written myself off before anybody wrote me off. You didn't need to write me off. But like over the years, I discovered that there was no need to do that, right? At one point in my life, I never really even wanted to write my exam, write ICAN or any exam. And now I'm done with it for like how many years now? And after that, I realized that, oh, after some years, I got into PwC. I was literally surprised that I could enter PwC, right? And because I've written myself off before. So what I'm just trying to say about this point is that don't write yourself off, no matter what you've experienced. There's more that can happen to you than you imagine. So just open your mind. I know you've had different experiences. I know you've had, and even if you are the one that is doing so well, there's so much you can learn from other people here. People here have worked in the big fours, worked in World Bank, worked in, different organization as the head of their finance, right? So it's just for us to know that there is so much more than what we currently experience. No matter what we experience, there's so much more, and that's like the second point I want us to really note, right? And the third point I want to note, which is my very important point, is like you need support, right? Even if you're writing your exam, even if you are, no matter what you're trying to do, and especially topic for today, which is your exam. And the truth is that whatever we do today, or whatever we do as prepare for our exam, we can also apply it to our lives. Whatever discipline we do, we can apply it to our lives. So it's the fact that we need support, and you need to be aware of that. Don't just, especially for people that struggle, right? Don't just go into a corner and say you want to read on your own. Speak to people. If you have questions, ask people, right? I remember that when I was preparing for my exams, I actually didn't want to write my exam. I can initially, that was back in 2015. So one time, my dad now, he now said that my mom told me that I don't want to write ICAN. I was just looking at him. I couldn't answer him. I was just laughing, right? I couldn't tell him no, that I didn't want to. But that was the truth. I didn't want to. But my popsy would not even listen to that. Like, he was ready to, do you understand, hold me down and say, you are going to write this exam. And maybe because, if not because of him, I probably won't have written, and I probably won't have gotten to where I have, right? Because getting your ICAN opened so many other doors for you, right? So it's just the point of you believing and you knowing that you can really achieve so much more, and you need people to do that, right? You need people to help you, to even remind you, as much as reminding you to read, as much as asking you what you understand, as much as just speaking to people. You can't just do it alone, right? I think that's what a lot of people try to do. You need an accountability partner. You need somebody to support you. You need somebody to explain some things to you. You need somebody to revise together, right? So it's a whole lot of support that we need in different ways, right? So, and that's what I just thought to share. And trust me, we're going to have two amazing sessions today. And the first session is going to really be about like their journey towards becoming a chartered accountant, and even where they are now. I mean, if you see their profile, you'll be like, oh, they guys are doing well. And yes, they are doing well. There are a couple of things we can learn from them that we can also take for our exams and even for our lives. And the second session will be more about how we can actually even pass this exam. Like, because those guys have won awards, they will tell you what secrets that they've done, the the thing they really need to do, right? Or the thing they've done that's helped them to get to that level, right? So they'll be showing you how to actually pass your exam, how to do the right things, how to read consistently, what you need to do to make sure that everything works out. So with that, I wish you guys a very amazing experience. And Oinda will just come up and introduce our next panelist, our next moderator for the session. So thank you all, and please just stay tuned, because at the end of the two panel sessions, we have two big announcements to make, and I'm sure you would like to hear it. So thank you, everyone, and Oinda will just come up now. All right, I think we're waiting for Oyinda, right? And while we're waiting for Oyinda to join, I would just like to get our thoughts on what we are really expecting for the summit. I'm saying Ozioma is saying joining from Alagbado, right? Welcome from Alagbado. Please, media, please just put a bit of comments so we just see people that where they are coming from and what they stand to get to gain. All right. Precious saying this is his first summit experience, right? Yeah. So I think we'll go ahead to introduce our next um yeah to introduce our next moderator, Mary, which will be coming up right now. And just like I said, just stay tuned. We have a lot of I mean amazing speakers that we've lined up, right, for this, right? And I mean, it's actually going to be interesting. So, I mean, for people that are just writing exams and not sure, just make sure that you stay tuned, you listen attentively, tell people to join, right? Share it with your friends, share it with your different circles, and we'll be starting our next panel session shortly, right? While we're just waiting for all our responses from. So I just want to know what you're expecting. Um, Mayawa from Akoka, thank you, Mayawa. Um, I didn't know you're Steven joining from Lagos. Please from Abuja. Thank you. And what are you really okay? Everyone on YouTube is saying that she's looking forward to hearing tips that will help her pass her exam. Yes, we're also looking forward to sharing that with you. Yes, Olusegun from Egbeda is joining the summit for the first time. Welcome, Olusegun. It's really good to have you. Hi, May. Welcome. Can you hear me?
I can't hear.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, if you can hear me, but I can't hear you though, I think it's fine then. So good afternoon, everybody. Can I just go ahead? Okay, I hope I can
Yes,
hear you,
please.
and I hope that I'm doing the right thing. All right. So good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy to be here. My name is Mary Otumba, and I love to speak about visibility and impact. So those are the kind of conversation that drives me. I'm happy to be doing this with Shay on this afternoon, and trust me, we're going to be learning a lot from this session. I really wish I could hear people, but then I don't know. So, the objective of this panel session really is we know that there are some set of people who really want to write this exam, right? So they already know they want to do it, but they are not sure if it is for them. So some people are not sure if it's the best option. They are not sure. I mean, there are so many exams out there today, with the wave of tech and everything. Is this certification for me? Right? Is it the right time? I'm really constrained with certain things. Am I sure doing the right thing? Am I sure I'm on the right path? So yes, we have three amazing, great guys who are going to be sharing their experiences with us this afternoon. They're going to be walking us through, how they did it, what motivated them to even start in the first place. Some of the benefits that they probably benefited, and some of the significant changes personally, professionally that has happened to them over the years after bagging the certification, if that makes sense. So I'm going to be reading their profile and then we start. Sheol, do you want to share their profile on the screen? Or I just paraphrase. No? Okay, so I don't know. I can't hear anybody. But I just really do hope that you can hear me. Please, if you can hear me, use the comment section so I'm sure that I'm actually speaking. So okay. All right. So we have three great guys, right? We have Richard Okmola. I mean, if you're very conversant on LinkedIn, you know Richard is all about Star Wars. So we have Richard. We have Abiodun. And I really love Abiodun's profile because I went through it before I joined. I'm like, oh, yo, I'm speaking with, a top person. I'm also speaking on the panel today. We also have Ngozi as well. I think I also want to Ngozi something.
Can we all hear me? Okay, we can all hear me. All right. Okay, we are happy to have all our panelists on the call this evening. Hi, ma'am. Hi, Richard. Hi, everybody. So I'll be taking the questions. So I'll start from Madam Apiodun. So can you walk us through your personal experience? Okay. Mary was supposed to read the profile, right? Okay, let me just quickly get. Okay, Mary will be back shortly. But in the meantime, I'm coming. Okay, Mary is back. All right. Mary, you can take on now. Mary, can you hear me?
No.
You can continue. You can continue. Okay. Okay. All right. I'll log out now. Oh, okay. Hi, Mary, can you? Okay, Mary, can I? We can make use of the chat box. Okay. So while we wait for Mary to catch up, would the profile is with Mary basically? Then you can just do a brief introduction about yourself before we take the question. Okay, yes, it's already on the screen. So yes, I want to read the profile of our professionals. So Madam Abiodun is the Executive Director of Construction Kaiser Limited, a highly reputable construction company servicing valuable companies across Nigeria. She's an alumnus of Lagos Business School, AMP 35, and Daystar Leadership Academy. She's a fellow of ACCA, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, and holds a first class degree in applied accounting from Oxford Brookes University, United Kingdom. Madam Biodu is currently undertaking an executive MBA degree at Inside. Her private vision is to be a world leader through excellent knowledge service. So far, I've been following her on LinkedIn, and I know she's somebody that is very passionate about knowledge sharing. So, I'll just quickly ask you. Okay, it's okay. Then I'll read Richard's own before I ask the question. So Richard Okola is an accomplished professional with a first class degree in accounting from Babcock University. He's an associate of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICAN, the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, CITN, a CFA Investment Foundation certificate holder, and a student member of ACCA. Richard has extensive and diverse work experience, having worked with FCA Consults as an audit associate, KPMG as a tax consultant, Lafayette PLC as a finance specialist, and CWG PLC as a tax and finance specialist before joining EY as a global compliance and reporting specialist. Currently, he is a member of the tax knowledge management team at EY Nigeria and is highly regarded for his advisory services on financial accounting, tax, and fiscal policy issues, and extensive experience in various specialized projects. Richard is a recipient of several awards for his outstanding work performance, including Standout Talent Award from KPMG and recognition from various professional bodies, including the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. Recently, he was recognized as the Q3 2022 Young Professional of the year in Nigeria by the Young Professionals and Emerging Leaders Forum (YPEL), and also featured as a 2022 Inspiring Change Personality by an NGO based in Canada. Okay, I think I can blow Richard's trumpet on this call. So Richard is my mentor and is the co-founder of Mentorship Corner International. So they've trained us upcoming finance professionals to be experts in the field. So really appreciate Richard and his partner Kudus Iwelabi. So I'll be taking the profile of our third panelist, Ngozi Ukweni, I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce it right, Ogago Ogene NG. So I've heard a lot about her from Sheon and from his post about her. So she's a first class BSc graduate in accounting at Babcock University, a chartered accountant and an MBA focused on finance and business analytics from Illinois State University. She serves as the global alumni for Enactors, an organization that provides a platform for students to work on community development projects that impact the three P's: people, profit, and planet. After her BSc graduation, she started her career in the deals advisory division of KPMG, where she has gained invaluable experience working in financial transactions ranging from merger and acquisition, financing, strategic partnership, and restructuring. Also, she has worked on blockchain projects and other innovative technology, disrupting the financial service industry business and operating model. So we are so happy to have all these world-class professionals on the summit today. So I'll be going through our questions for each panel member. Okay, so I would like Madam Abiodun to answer this question. Can you walk us through your personal experience of how you qualified as an accountant? Then what are the most important lessons you've learned on your career journey as as a chartered accountant? I don't know if you got that question, ma'am.
Yeah, I got it. Thank you so much for having me in this highly esteemed summit. It's a pleasure to be here. And I want to also say that this is a wonderful work that you guys are doing. And I hope that all that I'm going to share will inspire accountants that are in the room to be able to give expression to their God-given talent. So my journey actually started from my teacher, my accounting teacher in secondary school, who saw me. I did the first jump, and then I didn't meet the cutoff that I needed. So I was planning to write another jump, and he advised that I start ATS, ICAN ATS, rather than just studying for jump. So I took his advice and I started, and my parents encouraged me along the journey. By the time I'd done ATS 2 before I got admission into the university, and at some point I was thinking, well, should I just quit because I got admission to study economics, and I was writing ATS. So I thought, well, what's the correlation? But then my mom encouraged me and said, why not finish? After all, you started and then you're halfway already. So just finish. So I took that advice, and then I was studying in school. I was also preparing for my 8 years along the line. And thankfully, I actually wrote all the stages once. So it was really fast. So that was just about 18 months. So when I finished, I felt, wow, I'm done. But then another teacher, where I was taking lectures for the 8 years, saw me and said, no, you can't stop here. You've done so well already. Why don't you pursue ACCA? That is going to actually give you a lot of leverage by the time you get into the job market. So I thought about it and I went to my parents, and my mom said, why not? If you can study, we are here to support you. So I decided to go for it. I registered for ACCA and then I started studying. Mind you, I had to combine it with my academics work because I was in school already at that time. But it was really interesting for me. Studying was my primary assignment at that point in time. So I really found a lot of pleasure reading and just, going over the textbooks, talking to my fellow classmates, solving questions together. And that was how I pursued the ACCA qualification, the ACCA exams, and then from one state to the other, and eventually I finished. And I finished just about the time I was graduating from the university. So it was a timely journey and a very beneficiary one at that.
Yeah, thank you. So I would also like to ask NG the question too. So can you walk us through your personal experience of how you qualified as an accountant, and What are the most important lessons you've learned on your career journey as a chartered accountant?
Thank you so much, Oyi, for that question, and thank you for the opportunity to be here. I'm really excited to be here, and I was happy to join the session once Sharon reached out to me. So my name is Ngozi Ukweni Ogaga Ogene. I'm currently an investment professional at the World Bank Group in Washington, D.C., U.S. And becoming a chartered accountant has been quite a journey for me. And I started in my university days in 2015, and I wrote my exams, and I failed one actually. I failed my corporate reporting. I will never forget the day my result came out that I saw that I had failed corporate reporting. Then I had to write it one more time during my NYC, and I passed and qualified as a chartered accountant. Um, Becoming a chartered accountant is it's one way to transition as you go ahead in your career beyond your BSc. And we also have, like Biodu mentioned, some people in economics and other industries also pursuing the ICAN route. I believe that one of the things I've learned as a chartered accountant is that your certification opens up the door for you, but also your skill and your understanding of what it means to be a chartered accountant is what you need to survive in the industry going forward. So my journey has been one that I have transitioned from accounting to core finance, but I know that the experience and the knowledge I gained as an accountant is fundamental to the role I play in the World Bank today, globally. So two things come to mind. One is that in studying for my ICAN exam, to not just study to pass the exam, but to understand what I'm studying, understand how this applies in the real life. And the second thing is that becoming a chartered accountant has helped me contribute globally, and solve some of the problems that are being faced in the financial industry today. So those are the two things I want to emphasize at this point. I'm looking forward to contributing valuably to this session. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Angie. So, what you said about practicality to what you're reading is very important, right? Because most chartered accountants in the making, or ACAs in view, basically, they just read or study to pass. They don't know how these have implications in the workplace. So, we'd like to hear from Richard. Should I take the question again? Hi, Richard.
Yes, you can take the question again, please.
All right. Can you walk us through your personal experience of how you qualified as an accountant, and what are the most important lessons you've learned on your career journey as a chartered accountant?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Like the other speakers have already said, this is first of all a very good initiative, and I believe that sharing this personal experience it's one of the ways to also motivate others, to come up on board and then be able to easily access and become qualified. So my journey started in 2017, and it was a very interesting one because I just finished from Polytechnic then, and about seven of us, one of us who is a lady, she got qualified at the age of I think 17 or 18. So she inspired all of us, right? All of us were like, wow, if a young person like this can get qualified, how much more we these older folks, we're about 2 years older than us. So um in that 2017, so we all made it like something like a bet that in next 2 years we're going to be qualified, everybody, right? And it was very interesting because at exactly 2 years, all the seven of us were qualified,
Wow.
right? So, and how we achieved that was basically through something, I won't say competition, but of course, we know that we have a target to meet. So,
Hmm.
just to share a bit of the journey, how it came and how it all went through. So, it wasn't very smooth. In fact, I think I finished last among others. So, I failed three papers in skills in final level. Yes, in skills I cleared everything. So in final level I failed three papers, and I did not fail them because I didn't know them. I failed them because of overconfidence, right? So
Hmm.
I feel like I know everything, and maybe as time goes on I can share more on why I failed and when I was rewriting it, how I passed more successfully during the exam.
All right. Thank you, Richard. So you mentioned something that was very profound for me. You had a community of people around you that supported you. So that community is very important. You can't do your ICANN journey alone, basically. Like you need that community alone motivates you, inspires you when you're even thinking that probably because you failed one paper, you don't want to continue. But when you see your group that okay, they are striving to, and that 2 years goal is massive actually. It was a nice one. So I'll be going on to the next question. So I'll start from NG first now. So what are the significant benefits of becoming a chartered accountant, both to your life and your career?
Okay. You study for me?
NG.
Okay.
Yes. So becoming a chartered accountant has its benefits, and one of the things I'm going to be sharing today is one accounting is a core role in any business. So being a chartered accountant allows you to benefit one. Either you work internally, so you have a lot of career options. You can work internally within an organization. You can work externally as a consultant. You can work as a freelancer at your own free time. And this certification and the knowledge you gain as a chartered accountant helps you explore all of these options. So luckily, we're also in a field where accounting policies are similar across the world. So once it's an IFRS produced financial statement, you can analyze it. So that also helps you to be a globally competitive talent. So you can go to the UK, you can go to Canada, you can go to the US to practice. Yes, you need their own certification to enhance your possibility, but you have a basic understanding of the principles of accounting. So that's one of the benefits, I think, also aside from your career options, you also have the opportunity to be a global talent in any country that you are, and also earn your side hustle by being a freelancer, as the case may be. Another benefit I see as a chartered accountant in my life is that it helps me with my personal finances. This is just, as you learn accounting, you're also able to budget and plan around your personal finances, and it's also a value add to you. And then lastly, I want to share before I hand over to the other people, being a chartered accountant also helps you understand the business and can help you fit into any function within the business, because everybody wants to know what the numbers is about, and every organization is about profit and cost. So being able to explain that helps you position yourself as a key resource in any organization you find yourself. So I think I'm just trying to encourage people out there. Accounting is a wonderful career. We have our challenges with the numbers. You need additional skills to be meticulous and all of that, but it has potential, and your potential to grow personally and also professionally. I hope I'm able to help with that. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. I just saw NG money in the chat box. So I'll be going with Richard next. So what are the significant benefits of becoming a chartered accountant, both to your life and career?
Okay, so from my own perspective, I think there are so many aspects I can, of course, tell you from. First of all, from the career perspective, um, I experienced a significant rise in my pay. Well, so due to becoming a chartered accountant, and I was in the Big Four, so I didn't jackpot, so I just moved to a place that is quite better, and I got
Richard
about,
money.
let's say, I got about 200% rise in my pay,
Wow.
right? Just by saying that I'm chartered, right? And so from prestige perspective, there's this perception that people have about you because you're chartered. They'll be like, this guy is smart, this guy is, so that prestige that comes with it is there. Then another part of it is that being able to, when I started practicing more financial reporting and the likes, the fact that I'm a chartered accountant gave me more insight into the hands-on experience that I needed to work on. So it's like it compensates for the knowledge you've acquired during the exam process, and then the actual practice you are doing, it compensates for it. So I think that's majorly two things that I've actually gained from being chartered. Maybe there might be other things that other speakers might also want to talk about.
Thank you, Richard. So
Yeah,
becoming a chartered accountant, I should look forward to tripling my salary, right?
definitely.
So I want to go to Madam Abiodun next. I've seen her profile and I know you're on the board of some top companies. So did the chartered being chartered, did it give you any significant benefit of joining those boards? Like can you give us like a link to being chartered, and like does it play any significant impact in your career and being on those roles in your career, your professional career over time?
Of course, it does. Absolutely. So I'm going to share some personal experiences, and I believe it's going to encourage someone. When I joined Zynox Technologies many years ago, I was employed as an account executive. Um, and I'd only gotten about 2.5 years of experience at that time. But I was dealing with a lot of issues for the company and taking responsibility for big tasks. Lo and behold, the chairman called me to his office one afternoon and offered me the role of the head of finance department. Just less than 3 years into my career, because I'm a chartered accountant and I understand the way a business runs, and I can communicate to senior management and executives. So he just offered me that position, and I looked at myself. I thought, oh my God, I don't think I'm qualified. So he told me to go and think about it because he saw that I was jittery when he made that offer. So reflecting on that encounter, I'm like, yeah, the way people view you is different. When you're a chartered accountant, they see you as a valuable resource in any organization. They see you as a management material. They see you as an executive. So you just create a different brand for yourself. And that is what is going to take you to the top of your career. And that's something that I enjoyed. So for me, because I was chartered very early, so I actually benefited that all through my career. So from year 3, I was already leading teams. I was already head of department. By the time I clocked 6 years experience, I was a chief finance officer of a big company. So by the time I was 9 years, I was already an executive director in a in a big construction company in Nigeria. So it just puts you in a different category from your mates. Yeah, you might even be doing the same job, but the perception that the management team have about you is different. And when that opportunity comes up, you are top of mind. And
Yeah.
that is why you need to make that investment now so that you can continue to ride on that qualification for the rest of your career. And personally, being a chartered accountant has benefited me personally in the sense that I actually met my husband while I was studying for ACCA. So, and I will never forget that. So, and I'm sure so many people have similar experiences while they
Yeah.
were studying together. You know, the connection happened,
Yeah.
and they are better off for it. So, I
Yeah.
want to encourage people out there. It actually sets you apart for the rest of your career.
Thank you so much, ma. What you said is really profound. Like I had the same experience too. Like when I was to sit on the board for a meeting with our CEO, the first question I was asked is, "Have you started ICAN? What stage are you on?" And luckily for me, I just finished my final exams. So I think what you said really it just places you on another pedestal, basically. So I'll be going with the third question for this panel section. So beyond the certificates, how has the journey of okay, it's almost like okay, let me move to yes. What or who motivated you to become a chartered accountant? And what advice would you give to those who are considering pursuing this profession? I'll start with Richard. Should I come
Okay.
again?
Yeah, you can come again, please.
Okay. What or who motivated you to become a chartered accountant? And what advice would you give to those who are considering pursuing the profession?
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. So let me start with who. So the person that motivated me to become an accountant or chartered accountant is my agricultural teacher, agric teacher in school. So it's very funny and very strange. Very funny and very strange because so back then in schools I had this interest in accounting and the likes. So and she was always more like anytime anything calculation, anything accounting, bookkeeping and the likes. I'm able to help other students in the class to do it. And I get a very high score in like I get almost 100% during my secondary school days. So she mentioned that day that this guy that she would advise that if I'm going to pursue any career, I should just be accounting. And it should not just be accounting, that I should pursue it to the highest level that I will succeed in it. So, and trust me, initially I was not really, because I had too many talents. I can drum, I can, I do computer engineering, So I do a lot of things. So I didn't even know which one particularly, but I just felt like, okay, since I have skills and I have strength in this, I can pursue it. So the who is my agricultural teacher, and what motivated me. So trust me, many people will not tell you this, but of course, money was part of it, right? I know the benefit. I know what it means like to become a chartered accountant, based on the fact that I have this perception about people ahead of me. I can see them out there on social media. I see people like Taiwo Idele and the likes, and I'm always inspired by their content. I'm always inspired by the fact that these guys are doing very well. So me pursuing a certification as an ICAN certified is not just by, I won't say by mistake or by error. It's like an orchestrated plan that God has just put in place for me. So just to add a bit of story to it. So I remember that when I was doing that journey, there was time I got discouraged, right? I wasn't getting any support in terms of financial support. I was doing it all by myself. In fact, I can say that I paid everything all by myself. So, and I won't really blame anybody for that, but I just feel like you have to pay a price to get what you want, right? And I was also at many interviews. Trust me, it can be very funny when you're at interviews and just because you don't even have ICANN alone, they didn't even call you at all. So, and I've seen situations where because I have it, I'm preferred more than other candidates, right? So it's part of those things that motivated me, and I was able to pursue it and achieve it. And so that's basically. I don't know if any other question that you asked. I think there was a third question.
Yeah, okay. I was asking that what advice would you give to those who are considering pursuing the profession?
Okay, yes, fantastic. So the advice I would give to those considering um, pursuing ICANN or accountancy profession is that you need to look beyond the moment, right? You need to see far ahead than you. So, and why am I saying that is because many people just think that it's about getting ICANN certificate. But trust me, like I posted on one of my LinkedIn um, content recently, that beyond the certificate, what can you deliver, right? So I want you to know that as you are pursuing this ICANN, on the job, you'll be tested. Your IFRS knowledges will be tested. Your financial reporting and in terms of other things that you learn during ICANN will be tested real time. So I want you to have it at the back of your mind that these are key aspects that you need to work with when you are studying for your ICANN, and also have a kind of retentive memory because all this information will be tested. I've seen a chartered accountant that I was on the board of interview and we asked, what is the meaning of IFRS? And you know, chartered accountant, trust me, this guy was saying International Foundation of something. Everybody was shocked on the call. Like basic questions, talks about IFRS 16. He could not even remember what the standard is. So it's obvious that the guy just read to pass and did not, internalize those learnings. So I'll just advise you that as you are preparing for the exams, as you are learning for passing purpose, also don't forget that this is a profession, so it will be tested along the line when you are doing the career. So that's my advice.
Thank you, Richard. We appreciate that. So I'll be going with Madam Abiodun next. So beyond, okay, let me still say what or who motivated you to become a chartered accountant, and what advice would you give to those who are considering the profession?
Wow. So if who who motivate well, maybe I would say Jam motivated me to start actually. So because the genesis was Jam, but then my accounting teacher played a role because I didn't know anything about ICANN, UTS and all of that. And the teachers that I encountered along the way also helped. So after my secondary school teachers sowed the seed, I still had other teachers that encouraged me and then just, helped me along. And my parents also did a good job. So they were like on my case. When are you registering for the next paper? So I think that those the combination of those people really encouraged me. And yes, for everyone out there, it's always good to find someone, your cheerleader, somebody that is encouraging you, go for it, go for it, go for it.
Yeah,
And that would really keep you on that journey, because sometimes it takes longer than we plan. So you need some motivation to keep going, really.
yeah,
And then from as advice to everyone out there, The profession is actually a very distinguishing profession that puts you in a different category from every other person else. But beyond that, being a chartered accountant also enables you to have an helicopter view of any organization where you work. It removes any limitation or barrier. Imagine if you studied biology, you're a biologist. There are some roles, your opportunities are a bit limited. But as a chartered accountant, you can actually work in diverse industries. You can work across different functions because you have the heartbeat of every business at the palm of your hand. And that makes you a valuable resource. So, knowing fully well that your future is actually very bright with a lot of options, a lot of possibility, I would encourage that you pay the price now. Pay the price. Don't go for the shortcuts because people say, it's too difficult. No, the money is too much. No, I can't. Pay the price because the future is actually very bright. So investing in your ICAN, investing in your accounting profession is an investment, and the returns on that investment, it's a whole lot better than any other investment I can think of at this point in time. So pay the price, and I'm sure you'll be glad you did.
Okay, all right, thank you. So I'll be moving on to NG. There's a particular question I want you to answer. So how did you excuse me, how did you build the discipline and resilience needed to succeed in your ICAN exam? And have you taken any other exam too after that?
Okay, so I'm going to start with the first question, and I try to write out 4 things that as I thought through, things that helped me with my exam. And the first one was, like we've mentioned before, having a reading partner, an accountability partner, a support group. Because when I joined, in terms of motivation, I knew I was good in math, and when my parents asked what are the options for you, accounting came top of the list. But when I joined in university, I had a group of friends that were motivating me, to keep going. And that support group is required because you want to be working, or you want to just have people asking you questions on the random. And by explaining and interacting, you gain a better understanding of your accounting principles as you prepare for your exam. And then the second thing I think is also understanding yourself and when you are more productive in your studying. So I am a morning person. The first few hours of the morning are my most productive hours. So I try to read the courses that are more difficult for me within that first 2 hours. So, in order to be productive in reading your exam, you need to identify as a person, when do I understand better? Are you a night person? Do you need to be awake between 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. to understand, to read and to understand what you're studying for as you prepare for your exam? And then the next thing I also wanted to identify was practicing questions. Practicing questions was one of the things I think that also helped me after you studied a certain topic, being able to go back and study your practice questions. And you're not studying those questions just to check a box. It gives you understanding of how to learn and how to answer your questions better. In the comment, I saw people flagging challenges in audit and assurance as well as case study. And after my graduation from ICAN, I taught in an ICAN school, and I taught case study because it helps you build your business writing skills as an accountant, and it's also a skill that you need in the workplace going forward. So studying, having a studying partner, finding out when you study best to understand if it's morning or night or in the afternoon, and also having a studying group would also help you as you prepare for your exam. And then in terms of what was the second question? The second question was around the points that I have, learning points. So the second thing I wanted to share also is that as you prepare for your exam, you must be willing to learn, and you must be willing to fail as you go ahead in your career as an accountant. Yes, we've talked about the benefits of being an accountant, but there's also a lot of um, motivating yourself as you fail and as you learn, and also learning that in this space where we are, technologies begin to play a role in accounting. So beyond just um, passing your ICAN exam and learning the principles of debit and credit and IFRS, IAS principles, also prepare to learn advanced skills that can help you play a role globally. So pick up on your Excel skills, pick up on your Power BI skills and every other skill you can identify to help you in analyzing SAS, SAP, some of these technologies that are driving accounting going forward. That's also something you need to focus on and something you need to prepare your mind around this. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Angie. So, Richard, I want to ask one question based on we are still on discipline and resilience. When you failed those papers, what kept you going? Like, what was the motivation? What was pushing you to continue? Aside from your friends that had already gone, but internally, what was your driving force?
Okay, so thank you. Yeah, so when you said aside from my friend, but let me just say, those my friends, some of them are very, like, I would say they are wicked, like in terms of the comments, right? And why do I say that? Because okay, I started from ATS. Those 2 years I'm talking about, I started from ATS to final in 2 years, and I completed everything. So those guys, there was something that they kept saying, right? Yeah, see this lazy guy, you failed. It's in Yoruba that they say it, that you're a lazy guy to fail. And I think among all of us, maybe myself and one other person were the person that failed at all. In fact, one of us was the prize winner. So
Wow.
what kept me, what gave me the motivation was that I know that I have no other person to run to. First of all, I'm self-sponsoring myself. So whether I like it or not, I must pass. Plus, I have different. So I'm this kind of person that I don't know how, but I have a lot of offers every now and then, right? Job offers, but most of them are like conditional. That if you have ICAN, you get like maybe 100K. Let me just give you an example. Maybe the pay is 50K, but if you have ICAN, I will give you 100K. I'll give you 150K. And I was like, I have the skills, I have everything. Just this ICAN that is making you guys to say you don't want to pay me. So that kind of anytime I remember that ICAN can help me to achieve this thing, then I push back again and I keep giving my best. Then also coupled with the fact that there is this expectation, right? So I used to work with KPMG, and one of my partner, very fantastic partner, Walaja, he always following up. When I failed, he chatted me up, right? This is part of resilience. So I'm trying to bring out the point from it. When I chatted him up that, sir, I failed. and he said a statement that it's not about the failure, but the lessons that you've learned in the process, right? By the time I was going to prepare for that examination, trust me, I read ICAN case study, chapter 8, right? Chapter 8 tells you how the exam structure is like. I read the ICAN pack back to back, such that I even know it more than I knew it before. And if you ask me question any angle from it, I will tell you that this is the page that it is. So so that kind of energy that I put into the second preparation is just everything. And the resilience part of it is that I know that others have passed. People have failed, trust me. And I've seen people that have failed that they cannot even rise again. I don't pray we experience that. But trust me, the best thing is that you have a self-motivation, self-resolution that no matter what, I must achieve this thing. And it has also helped me to advise other people, like people that have failed back to back, and just by pushing them that, see, I also failed, right? And I've overcome it. So I think that push, that self-will is very important for you to overcome ICAN failure, because it can be very devastating and depressing if you are not careful.
All right, thank you so much, Richard. So we'll be coming to an end. This panel session will be coming to an end, but before you all go, we would like to get 1 minute question, like your last word for us, like just 1 minute per panel. So we'll be going with Abiodun first.
So
Like
for
last word.
me,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I think it's always beneficiary if you set a target for yourself. Don't just have this wild aspiration. I'll become a chartered accountant. No, the goal has to be a bit more specific, and that is what would drive the motivation to pursue that dream. So set a target for yourself. I'm sure from all the other speakers, they actually, thankfully, Richard said it that he has a 2-year goal. Set a target for yourself. Don't just leave it open ended. Whenever I finish, that's when I finish. That target keeps you in check and then pumps energy into you so that you're able to achieve your dream sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you, Abiodun. Really appreciate you for coming on the call. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much. So, NG, can you give us your last words for the summit?
Yes, my last word for the summit is going to be being an accountant is an awesome career. You have so many opportunities to contribute globally to the financial sector. So don't limit yourself to just what you're reading, but know that being an accountant opens up the door for you to different potentials in your future. So study to understand and not just cram and pass exam, and always think about how the skills you're gaining as you advance is going to help you add value to the world as a whole. Particularly, I keep emphasizing the need for technology because I find a lot of chartered accountants, we don't want to be writing debit and credit with red pen and blue pen. So try to also add technology skills so that you add value to yourself and to the world at large as you go ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you, NG. Thank you. Then, Richard, the
All right.
last word for
So
us.
yeah, from my end, I think I'll just divide it into three aspects. So like I've always said in many of my outings, or let me say speaking engagements, you must know something about everything and everything about something, right? Your ICAN pack, know something about all the topics, right? And know everything about the specific topic. So preparation for the examination, you must be able to at least assess yourself during the examination. I'm just specific to the examination now. You must be able to assess yourself within the exam hall and say, with what I've done, I've gotten 60 marks over 100. How can I put more points inside this team to get 70 marks, to get 80 marks? I do it very well and it works for me, right? So you can do that. Then the other part of it is that you need to also, I actually jot something down here. You need to discuss with those that have gone ahead of you, right? Discussing with them like give you a kind of reassurance, gives you a support system, like one of the speakers have mentioned that you have an accountability partner. So you must have somebody that is always there to checkmate what you are doing. Then finally, like I said before, you must see beyond the ICAN examination. See that you are going to a profession and everything you are learning would actually form part of what will be tested on the profession. So I think with these few action points, that can also prepare you to become a chartered accountant and be able to make meaningful impact in your environment and society. Thank you.
This panel session. So the next session will be anchored by Temitope Obayemi. She'll be taking the question and answer segment from the next panelist as well. So thank you so much for coming, Abiodun. Thank you, Angie. Thank you, Richard.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank you
Bye.
much.
so much.
Thank
Bye.
you. Okay, I can go off now. Hi, Temi. I'll be going off now.
Hi. Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. I trust you've been enjoying this session so far. Thank you to our previous panelists for doing great justice to that. Hi, Moni Jesu. Hi. Just few seconds. I'm waiting for my panelists. Hi, I can see you, Koyum. Hi, hi. 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 Okay, we have Mr. Victor. Good evening. Welcome.
Good evening.
Good evening, Femi. Good
Good
evening.
evening. Hi, today it's a pleasure
Yeah,
to be
good
here.
evening.
Yeah, now I have my panelists. Hello, everyone. Good
Hello, good
evening.
evening.
Good evening,
Good
my
evening.
friend. Good evening to everyone on this call. It is my great pleasure to welcome you to the final panel session. Please, few seconds, just few seconds. All right, as I was saying, It is my great pleasure to welcome you to this final panel session. I know you had just one session, but today and in this particular session, we'll be talking about the secret to acing exam at the first attempt. I know we have had a session prior to now, but as they say, the best is reserved for the last. So I congratulate you if you are still here. We have gotten to the meat of the session. So we have with us distinguished group of experts who will share with us valuable insights and experiences on how to pass our exams at the first sitting. I know very well that exams can be very daunting and stressful, but with the right strategies and mindsets, trust me, success can be achieved. Our panelists are excited and they are ready to share from their wealth of experiences. They have excelled in their respective field and they have a wealth of knowledge to offer us on this topic. We'll be discussing various salient points, practical tips, and effective study techniques that can help you improve your exam performance and increase your chances of acing. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear
Yes,
you.
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Okay, so they will discuss various salient points, practical tips, and effective study techniques that can help you improve your exam performances, increase your chance rather of acing your exams on the very first attempt. I encourage you to participate. You can use the YouTube channel session, the comment section to ask your questions, to share your own experience, and to also seek guidance from our panelists. This session is designed to be very interactive, informative, and empowering. It aims to equip you with valuable insights and can make a very big difference in your exam preparation journey. So before we proceed, I would like to take a moment to introduce our esteemed panelists. Now, the very first person I have here with me is Victor Hayola. Victor Hayola has a BSc in Industrial Relations and Personnel Management. He holds a master's degree in Business Administration Management from the University of Lagos and BSc Applied Accountancy from Oxford Brookes University. He's a fellow of the ACCA and holder of CIMA's Advanced Diploma in Management Accountancy and ACCA certification in IFRS for SMEs, as well as Prince 2 practitioner certificates. Before moving to the UK to pursue a midlife career change to accountancy in 2004, Victor worked in HR for 13 years and was among other personnel slash admin manager at Cadbury PLC. He was also the head of Personnel Intercontinental Properties Limited, a subsidiary of Access Bank. In the UK, he trained with Kaplan and BPP, both leading platinum ALPS. Ladies and gentlemen, please make welcome Victor Ayola. So,
Good
my
afternoon,
second
everyone.
panelist, good to have you, Victor. My second panelist is
Yeah,
Oluwafemi Oshosu. He's an assurance associate with EY, a global accounting and advisory firm. He's an associate member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria and also a graduate of economics. Previously, Oluwafemi worked as a regulatory and returns officer with Fidelity Bank and Stanbic IBTC. He also worked as an administrative officer with First Bank Nigeria. When Oluwafemi is not working, he's either listening to music, playing games, or sleeping. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not busy, please make welcome Oluwafemi Oshoson. I'm clapping if you can see me. And finally, we have Simon Alake. He's an advisory consultant with PwC Nigeria and a lead tutor with Next Page Tutors, a reputable ICAN tuition center in Lagos, providing physical and online lectures to students across Nigeria. He holds a first class bachelor's degree in finance and a member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria. And he's also a 3 times ICAN prize winner. Woo! He has over 7 years' experience in lecturing and mentoring ICAN students with major focus in strategic financial management. That's Almighty SFM, case study, and corporate strategic management and ethics. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are excited to have Simon, to have Femi, to have Victor, please put your hands together for these callers. This panel is packed, and I'm so excited to be moderator for this session. Hello, Simon. Good evening. Can you hear me loud and clear before we proceed? Please confirm
Yeah,
you
good
can.
evening. I can hear you clearly. Thank you,
Very
everyone.
well. Thank you. Femi, please confirm you can hear me before we proceed.
Yeah, I can hear you, Tim. Okay. Good evening.
Amazing, amazing. All right, Mr. Victor, please confirm you can hear me loud and clear.
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Amazing, amazing. So let's proceed. So the first question here is thrown to everyone actually. What are some effective study strategies or techniques that students can employ to improve their chances of acing exams on their first attempt? Effective study strategies or techniques that students can employ to improve their chances of acing their exams on their very first attempt. I would like Mr. Victor to go first.
Okay, thank you very much. I think I must say first, it's such a great privilege to be here. And coming after great speakers like Manora, Ngozi, Richard, I think it really talks to the quality of this conference. And to be on the same panel with Simon Alake, three-time prize winner, I normally joke that sometimes some of us who are not as deeply talented, we get to dine with the high and the mighty like Simon. So it's really a privilege to be here. But if you want to pull up the kind of things that Simon has pulled up, for example, or the kind of thing that Abiola and Ngozi talked about, you will need to do things a bit differently from what students normally do. And the starting point is what we call exam technique. In my journey with ACCA, both as a student and as somebody that has been responsible for managing and supporting students to pass for over 8 years, I support over 7,000 students. I have discovered one thing, that students are not failing because they don't know. Students often fail in spite of knowing because they don't know how to express what they know to take the marks that are available. So the starting point is to know the exam technique. Whatever the exam that you are taking, you need to know the examiner, you need to know the examiner's approach, you need to know the technique that is applicable to that particular exam. You are not going to be coming to a particular examination with the mindset of another exam that you are probably taking in your university. So exam technique is very, very primary. And within that ambit of exam technique, we talk about time management, we talk about we talk about covering the syllabus, we talk about knowing the details of the question, but more importantly for an accountancy examination, knowing the application. There are many people who know the details, but they don't know the application. And that's why we
Well,
really need to make a difference.
mhm. Good. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thank you so much. Simon, you want to add to that?
Okay, thank you. It's really good to be here. I mean, for the past 7 years, I've been dealing with students, helping them to pass their ICAN examination. And one interesting thing about the process is that I've come to understand why students really have issues with their exam. And part of it that I would just like to add to what Mr. Victor has said is the part of covering the syllabus and also having effective reading plan. A number of time I can go on and on to cite sample diets when students had when we had massive failure in some papers in ICAN examination, and the number of students that have been able to pass or that were able to pass those diets are students who covered their syllabus 100%. We have situations when questions will be set from a very uncommon part of the syllabus, and you get to see that, oh, you are coming out of the exam hall and you are wondering where the question came from. And if you understand ICAN structure or question structure, you understand that there are we have question one, we also have some other sessions that you need to pay attention to. But imagine having a question one that you don't even know the chapter that this is tested from. It gives you that probability of failure automatically, and this is right from your preparation process. So it is important to cover the syllabus and also have effective reading plan to do that.
Thank you so much
Basically.
for sharing. Thank you so much for sharing. Then Femi, you want to wrap up this session for us?
Yeah, thank you, Tim, and thank you to the speakers that have spoken. So one of the things I feel students can inculcate is early study habits. So I feel most students try to do gorilla reading. That is, they try to read 2 weeks to the examination. So you can't compare yourself who has been reading 2 weeks to the examination with someone who started reading the first week of preparation. So one of the things I can advise students to do is to start reading from the first week, because what students used to do is they feel the topics that are being taught in the first week are topics that when they try to do Jackie Chan reading, I try to call it Jackie Chan reading, when you're trying to lump up taught in SFM, corporate reporting, advanced audit, 2 weeks to the examination. This our brain, there is little or there is a cap to what our brain can assimilate at a time. So when you are trying to read everything at once, your brain will get full up to a point that you will just see yourself reading and reading and you'll not be understanding. And another thing I would also advise is to spread the reading time. Don't try to copy people because they are reading 8 hours at a stretch. I am not one who can read 8 hours at a stretch. I respect people who do that. But what I advise students to do is, if you know you can't do that, what you can do is maybe you give yourself time in maybe every 1 hour. I'm going to read and I'm going to have a break of about 15 minutes. Then you go back to reading. Because I've noticed myself that anytime I try to read for more than 2, 3 hours at a stretch, what I'm doing is the book is reading me. I'm just looking at the book. So, so what I advise students to do is, one thing is early preparation. And also don't undermine any paper. I remember when I failed business management and finance, it was because I was like, I studied economics. So why would I be reading this too much? It's a walkover. Result came out. I had 36. So I was surprised. I knew it was because I undermined the course. So let me just reiterate them again. You have to prepare early enough. The second one is not to do Jackie Chan reading. Then try to
Really
break your reading pattern. Then do not undermine any course. Thank you.
fantastic. Thank you so much. In summary, cover your syllabus, learn to express yourself, don't practice guerrilla reading, and make sure you have a good reading habit. Right. Thank you so much for that. Now, still on you, Femi. I would like to ask you, are there any specific strategies or techniques that can enhance retention ability? So, for example, you mentioned that if you read for 2 hours, more than 2 hours, the next couple of hours you are probably not reading, you're just wasting your time. Now, would you tell us how students can then how they can learn to or how they can retain what they've read such that they don't when they get to that saturation point, they don't lose everything they've read just because they are exhausted. I don't know if you get the question.
Yeah, yeah, I do. Thank you. So like I think it was Plato that said, "Man, know thyself." And so
Mm,
what I've noticed is, for me, that I know I don't really like reading Jackie Chan like 8 hours. Once I read for 1 hour, 2 hours, I try to find people that I can teach. For example, now if we have been taught a topic in class, let's say in SFM now, we're taught bond valuation. I'll try to look for people who were not in class or people who had struggles in understanding it and try to teach them what I have understood. So in teaching them, what I have noticed is, because I am reading because I want to go and teach someone, I've conditioned my brain not to think towards the way of examination again. So tension has been removed from my reading habit. So because I am reading because I want to teach people and also to help others, I assimilate better. And when I am teaching them, I'm also indirectly teaching myself. It's like the
mm,
adage that says that when you point a finger at someone, that the other ones are being pointed at you. So when I am explaining to someone, I'm also invariably explaining to myself. I remember when I was trying to prepare for SFM in ICAN, once, and also another thing I think I did was to ask questions. Anytime I am stuck, I'm reading a particular topic and I feel that I don't really understand it, rather than assume that I'm going to understand later, I'm going to call any of my friends and then ask them, or the lecturer, and ask him that there's this particular thing I've been reading and I got stuck with it. Can you please show me maybe an easier way to go about it? Because I'm certain that there's an easier way to every topic in ICANN. So rather than waste my time trying to understand it the hard way, why not just let me find an easier way to understand it so that I can also help myself and reduce my reading time. So what I do is, once I've read a particular topic, I try to teach people. Then if I don't really understand the topic, I ask questions, I ask my friends, and I also ask lecturers. then solving questions so I can know that I actually understand it. Because this ICAN journey is quite funny. You think you understand it until you see another question in another dimension. Like they
Right.
say, they have different faces to the way they set the questions. So I don't think that's just it. That's just it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Femi. So I picked three things. You said that we should teach someone. When you read for the purpose of teaching someone, it helps you to retain that thing that you have learned. Another thing you said is to ask questions. Don't close your mouth. A closed mouth is
Yeah.
a closed destiny. Then finally, solve as many questions as possible. Thank you so much for that. Now, Simon, when you were speaking earlier on, you emphasized on the importance to cover the syllabus. Now, I have a question here that says that uh, to cover all subjects, one must have a reading schedule. How can students create a balanced study routine or reading schedule that will ensure that they can cover the syllabus? Did you get that? Or I should take it again?
Yes, that's very clear.
Okay.
Okay,
Fantastic.
a very good question. And for everyone who is looking at writing ICAN exam, planning is very key. And just like Femi mentioned, you just have to start early. We have November 2023 exam coming up, and a number of centers are already starting their lectures. So it is important to have a plan that will enable you start preparing for your exam as early as July. So, and of course, for every ICAN course, is a content, and there is even a breakdown in terms of syllabus and competency. And this is one aspect that a lot of students don't get to even read. They just keep the syllabus part of the study text, go straight to chapter 1, and then move on to start reading. And they're also attending lectures, looking for maybe summary material to work with. Over time, right from when I was writing my own ICAN exam, and also having spent 7 years, teaching ICAN students, I've been able to realize the importance of going through the syllabus, more like the competency part of your study material. It helps you to understand what is important and what is not important. I mean, all chapters are important, but it tells you the weight of each chapter or each competency. Taking advanced tax, for example, is just one of the 15 courses that we have in ICAN program or in ICAN professional program. You find out that there are about 31 chapters. Meanwhile, you can easily select about 3 or 4 chapters that covers more than 70% of the syllabus. So if you are able to go through the competency part of your study material, it gives you this picture that these are the areas I need to probably read up to 4 times, because I'm probably starting off having 1 or 2 questions from this aspect, and you don't want to joke with this. It's also important, like I mentioned earlier, that you don't neglect other chapters, right? Because we've had situations where you pay so much attention to areas that has high weight, and then you see ICAN coming up with surprises. A 40 marks or a 30 marks question can be tested in even a very small chapter, and that is when we usually experience mass failure, which is why I emphasize on the importance of covering your syllabus earlier. So it is important to have that reading schedule, and it's also important for you to start early. So with that, you are probably having your weekly or daily tick off. As you cover this chapter, you tick it off. And it's also, it can be linked to the importance of having an accountability partner, because you wake up, you just open your pack and you start reading without planning. It's not good for you as an ICAN student. ICAN is not like university where you'll be asking for area of concentration. You are expected to cover the syllabus, and that is the only way you are not leaving your passing of the exam, under probability, basically. So that's all I have to say about that.
Thank you so much. So, three things I picked from what you said is that you should go through the syllabus. Don't just open your pack and then you start reading. Familiarize yourself with the content of your syllabus. Then you said we should have an accountability partner. Fortunately, you don't even need an individual to be your accountability partner anymore. We now have glow lights. I'm sure when we get to the final session, Sheo Daniel would elaborate more on grow lights. So, grow light is there for you. You need a study body. Grow light is there for you. Now, moving to Mr. Victor. Sometimes students feel overwhelmed by the amount of material they need to study. What strategies can they use to break down complex topics that will make it more manageable?
Thanks so much. I think as one of the speakers has said earlier, the first thing you need to do is to avoid using gorilla approach to to the studies. And that means that when you have started early, one of the fundamentals of starting early is that you would have broken your syllabus into manageable parts that you can handle. And when you have a complex subject that is overwhelming, to break it down, a former examiner of one of the qualifications that I did, and by the way, let me let you know that I started my journey. I took ICAN Foundation, I took ICAN Intermediate before going to ACCA. A former examiner that I know said that if you want to pass a professional level course, it's important for you to first break it down, to first understand that there are fundamentals that are on the skills level. So unless you know the skills level, you won't be able to understand the professional. So it's important to understand the basics. When you understand the basics, then the incremental knowledge is only a build up on it. And now the mistake many people make is that when they are seeing the complex thing, they are focused so much on the complex. Whereas if they know the foundational, the underlying knowledge, they can even be getting a lot of the mark. I will give you a practical example. When you are solving a question that includes depreciation, for example, in a corporate reporting examination that includes depreciation, and there are aspects of it that are of the same question that have to do with retained earnings. We all know that it's easier to have a good score when you solve the depreciation aspect instead of just focusing your attention on the more hard to get one, because all the energy that you put on the one that is difficult to get, a lot of time is exciting when you get it, but the value add of doing that extra work may not be worth it sometimes. And if time permits, let me just give you a quick example. I was preparing for a course called taxation in the ACCA, and I was taking a mock examination with the PPP. And the lecturer was passing through and came to me and stopped and said, "Victor, well done. You are doing very well. If you do this in the exam, you will score 100% in this question, but you will fail the exam." And she explained to me that you will never have enough time to do a perfect work. So what you should do, instead of wasting time doing this, is get an assumed figure and move on. And that is what students need to understand when you get to a complicated situation, that there will be a time that you need to move on, but you need to understand the basics and be able to know what you can derive beyond that point. I hope that has addressed your question.
Yes, it does. Thank you so much. Now, I have a particular question on procrastination, and this is to everyone. Procrastination is a common challenge that everybody deals with. Even we that we are in the corporate world, we still deal with procrastination. Now, for students, what advice would you give to students to overcome procrastination and to stay focused during exam preparation? Everyone,
Yes.
so I don't know who wants to go first.
Okay, let me just speak on that. I mean, procrastination is just one of the problems that have stopped a number of people from achieving the ICAN qualification. And it is linked to starting your preparation early that we mentioned earlier. And that is also, linked to having an accountability partner. A number of times you have ICAN students that have very tight work schedule, and it's really difficult navigating the two together, especially when you have your writing skills or professional stage with 5 or 6 papers. And that is where you need an accountability partner. No matter what, I mean, I can share practical experience. This diet, we had even people that are working full time that wrote 5 papers, that won ICAN prizes, and it tells us that you don't have an excuse, no matter what your daily activities looks like. So it's all about you having an accountability partner, and of course, starting with that early preparation and plan, right? So having an accountability partner will help you, have a daily or a weekly report that, okay, this is my reading goal for this week. This is what I want to achieve. And if you are doing that alone, you can easily deviate. But if you have an accountability partner that you need to report to at the end of the week, oh, I have this that I'm here to cover. I need to cover this. I need to do this, because at the end of the week, you are going to report, right? And then, of course, it's also for you to be open, because you don't want to have an accountability partner and you are still holding some information that is, that is affecting your preparation. You want to be open to your accountability partner. If you still have some challenges in terms of your daily activities, you have to be open so that the accountability partner will be able to identify the right thing to, help you, navigate the process basically. So it's linked to accountability partner and you having a reading plan, and start early. We've had conversations with somebody like Seun Daniel before, as an ICAN lecturer who has tutored several students for several years. I realized that it's not about the technicalities. It's not about having the best lecturer in SFM. It's not about having the best lecturer in PM. The emotional part of the preparation need to be well managed. A number of students are discouraged. A number of students need this follow-up to be able to read. Even if you've taught them using the best technique in class, they'll probably get home and drop it and get on another activities, nobody to follow up on them. And that is where the accountability partner comes in. So it's actually very important.
Thank you so much. Emphasis, accountability partner. All right, Femi, you want to go next?
Okay, yeah, thank you. So, in regards to procrastination, like they say, procrastination is the thief of time. And if I can also further extend it, it's also a thief of joy, because once you procrastinate, you are going to fail. Then you're not, when you fail, you're not going to be happy. So let me just walk us through my skills journey, and I'll speak more on that. So I remember in skills, PM, audit, I came from foundation, so I was going to be writing 5 papers. So I remember that I was more keen on maybe PM and financial reporting, because I thought they were the difficult ones. That the other one there's still time to read them, audit, PSAP, and then CSM. So I was like, there's still time to read it, and I was working. So I remember what I noticed was that the ones that I procrastinated on, that I was telling myself that there's time to still focus on them, I failed audit. I was surprised that audit, which was like the easiest paper in skills, I passed 4, I failed one. I was not telling myself that, why did I fail? So I had a self-thought, and I thought about it retrospectively, and I checked through my schedule, and I noticed that I procrastinated. Like I started reading audit about, I think, 2 or 3 days to the examination. And what I noticed was that because I was reading it 3 or 2 days to the examination, I was trying to do guerrilla reading. I know that I can't assimilate much after about 2 hours. I was reading more than 2 hours for audit, thinking that maybe I can pay for the time I didn't give it earlier. So that, because I procrastinated, I was unable to cover enough thing in the examination, or that when I got to the exam, I can remember the first question. It was on key audit matters. I was asking myself, what topic is key audit matters again? Because I don't even know the topic. So I was like, what is key audit matters? I already knew that I was going to fail the paper, but I was still trying to be hopeful. Now I'm going to find out. What I told myself was that I told myself that I want to win a prize in this final. And I remember telling them in class every day that I would tell them that SFM I'm scoring 96, corporate reporting I'm scoring this. So because I already told people that I wanted to do this, I had to tell myself that I can't procrastinate. So I had to start reading early. Yeah, at times at night when I get back from the office, I'll be very tired. But if it's just 20 minutes, I will just carry my book and I'll try to read, because I noticed that. And what I told myself is that if I don't read for 2 days, if I remember on the third day, I have to continue to read. Because if I didn't read for 2 days, I can't now beat myself up and not continue what I'm supposed to do. So I had procrastinated for about 2 days. I had to continue on the third day. And because I noticed that one of my problem was procrastination, I have to deal with it on time by preparing early and then doing what I need to do, reading all the materials and not trying to undermine any particular course. I have to give every course the desired amount of attention. I was not looking at SFM being higher than advanced audit. I was not looking at advanced audit being lower than advanced tax. I have to give every one of them same preference so that I won't try to procrastinate. And when the result came out, I was a bit surprised that I won prize, but I was not that surprised when I saw that it was SFM. I was like, I was not that I was expecting it, but in the examination, no, there was 2 particular questions that I knew I was going to get a perfect score in those questions. Why? Because I didn't really procrastinate. I'd already prepared and I had already read. And with that, I won 2 ICAN prizes that died. So what I can just tell people is, when you know yourself as a procrastinator, like Simon has said, you have to have an accountability partner. So that when you are trying to procrastinate, that person is going to remind you that, guy, we're supposed to have read this particular topic, you are dragging me back. So by that, you trying to procrastinate, that person is going to help you. And before you know it, you're going to you will be able to cover up the topics that you thought you won't be able to cover. So procrastination is a thief of time, and if I'm to extend it, like I said earlier, it's also a thief of joy. Thank you.
Thank you so much for giving us that quote. You should put that on your wall so that it can ring in your head every time you see it. Right. So, Mr. Victor, kindly conclude.
Well, I think it's really exciting to be learning from the likes of Femi and Simeon some
Right.
new
I agree.
tricks. Yeah. But what I just wanted to add is that I think it's in the book Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. The author Stephen Covey said, "Begin with the end in mind." We must always start by beginning with the end in mind. I think it was Femi who gave an example of people offering him job and saying, if you get qualified, if you have your ICAN, if you become a chartered accountant, your salary will no more be 50,000, it will be 100,000. That should be a very strong motivation to anybody. When you know that a new world awaits you out there, I think it begins to recondition the way you approach your studies so that it's not more just being done with sloppiness. And one example I normally give my students when they're about dropping out of an exam or giving up or procrastinating is this. I ask them, if you are working with a PwC or a KPMG, and there is a condition that if you fail this next exam, you are out, what will you do? And almost every time, the answer that people come back with is, I will do everything to pass. I say, then go and do that everything. Don't wait until somebody puts you under that pressure. So when we know the end in mind, when we know that our life depends on it, I mean, when you know that there's so much at stake for the qualification, then it can begin to inspire us, it can provide the motivation. And when it provides the motivation, yes, nobody wants to. I mean, it's more fun watching TV, it's more fun doing other things. But when you know that you can change your life just by changing the way you do things, I think we can address the procrastination issue. So we
Yeah.
need to have a clarity about why we are doing this, why we are into it. And that is to get a good career, a good life.
Mm. Amazing, amazing. When you have the end in mind, nothing will nothing will stop you from doing what you're supposed to do, because you know that if I don't do A, if I don't do B, many things are at stake. Yes, thank you so much for giving us that point. So this is just to tell our audience that I can see you all. I can see that the comment section is bubbling with questions, and a lot of people need accountability partner. Good news. I'm happy to inform you that BACA has something in store for you. You don't need to connect with people, or you don't need to connect with people physically for accountability's sake. Grow Light, which is a product of BACA, is there for you. But don't worry, when we get to that final session, Sean Daniel would shed more light on that. Just hang around and hang in there. Right. I can also see that you have a lot of questions. Please bear with us. At the end of the session, we'll take all of the questions together. Now, let's move to anxiety. Nervousness. Anxiety is a lot of things. Even we that we are in the corporate world, when we are told to give presentations, we're already jittering. And after you have prepared so much, you have done your rehearsal, sometimes your rehearsal comes out better than your final session. And it's not because you have not done it, you have done it, but it's just that you are anxious. Now, bringing it back to exams, what strategies can students employ to manage exam anxiety so that they can perform very well in their exams? Simon, please answer that question for us.
Okay, thank you. Very good question. And that reminds me of the word I use for my students. And I remembered last diet after the exam, I saw the students coming to the group to mention that word. And then even after the results, a lot of these students were still mentioning the same word. And the word is hustle, basically. So I tell my students that preparing for ICAN and passing your ICAN exam is not really about you are brilliant or you are smart. It's just for you to plan and work like hustler, basically. So there's the preparation part, and you find out that even if you have covered the syllabus like we mentioned earlier, there are a number of times that students get into the exam hall and you have a diet or a paper that is just that is just looking strong for almost all the students, right? And the question I keep asking my students is that, does that mean you should close the answer booklet and say I'm coming back next diet? No, because that clearly means that you've dashed ICAN money and you want to come back, and that doesn't make any sense financially and even in terms of your time. And what I tell students is that there's no reason to be scared. The question you need to ask yourself at that point is that, I have read and I tried to cover the syllabus, and no matter what ICAN is bringing in this exam, I know it's coming from one chapter or the other that I have read, right? And that is one question I need to answer at that point. And the other thing that students need to learn how to bring at that point of exam is the spirit of can do, right? You need to have that hustle spirit. And I would like to cite a very practical example. I remembered when I wrote my skills exam. I wrote my first paper that was financial. I wrote 4 papers then, coming from the ATS. So I wrote FR, that's financial reporting, in the first day, and it was very smooth. The second paper, the same day, very smooth. And then second day was performance management. And I opened the question, looked through question 1, question 2, question 3, and I have fully covered the syllabus. And it was not looking like I can boast of, this is the question this is the question I've been looking for, or I can easily trash this question. It didn't come that way. And the only thing I had to tell myself at that point is that I need to bring the confidence that I've been using throughout the preparation process, and I need to hustle out whatever it is for me to pass this paper. In fact, I looked around and I saw a number of students around me. A number of students are already sleeping. Some of them are just looking at me. Some of them are looking at other people, probably they were helpless. And the only thing I could tell myself is that I will not come back for this paper. I need to hustle out for at least a pass mark, because this question is hard. Doesn't mean I should close the answer booklet and say I'm coming back next diet. So my first advice, which is a word I say to my students a lot, is you need to have that hustle spirit. You need to have that can-do spirit, even at the point of examination. If you look at your questions and it's looking like, I don't know where this is coming from, just have that proper reflection. Look at the preparation process. Understand that these questions are definitely coming from all the chapters you've read, and then try to answer the questions reasonably and hustle, basically. At the end of the day, you'll find out that it's probably a control paper. So many students might fail in that same diet, but you find out that you definitely stay above 50% in that paper. And that is one thing that I've always advised students to do. And to be very frank with you, the exam, I got home for this paper. I got home and I marked myself, and I was marking, I think, 60 thereabout, right? But when the results came out, I saw 84, right? And that was because the mass failure was there. A number of students failed. So if you have even tried your best, you realize that you'll probably be among the best students in that diet. So that's it.
Thank you so much for sharing. Mr. Victor, I'd like to ask you, as an experienced person, can you share with us major pitfalls and mistakes that students make when they are preparing for their exam and even during their exam?
Thanks so much. Permit me to wander off before I take that. What Simeon was describing is what has been described as resilience quotient, that everybody in life will get into a situation where there will be trouble, and we need that resilience to pull through. Now, to link that to the next question that you have asked me, the major pitfall, one of the major pitfalls that people have, we described many of the pitfalls. One of them is overconfidence before the exam, poor preparation. But inside the exam itself, there are pitfalls that a student needs to address. If you are in a situation where you suddenly get into an exam and it looks like you don't even know what is there, the thing to avoid is waffling. Now, we call it waffling, just writing something for the sake of it. What you can then do in that situation, instead of waffling, is to look at the question, break it into its components, and address little things. Sometimes a 3-mark here, a 2-mark here, a 1-mark here can make the difference between you becoming a chartered accountant and not in that diet. And sometimes it's all down to being able to cross that 50% margin. But a pitfall in preparing for the exam, for example, will be to have a 50% mindset. Now, when you have a 50% mindset, what I tell people is this: it can work for you, and it probably works a lot of time. But the day when things become tough, a question of 15% that you have made a mistake in, that you have scored maybe 5%, can be the one that determines whether you pass the exam or not. But if you have a 70% mindset, you have a 80% mindset, even if you don't reach it when you have aimed very high, like Femi was aiming high when he was talking, when you have aimed very high and something happens, there is a crisis, what happens is that even though you are not able to meet that high expectation, but at least you have safely crossed the border. So a major pitfall is to go with a 50% mindset, a mediocre mindset. You need to challenge yourself to higher expectations so that come what may in the exam, you will be able to scale. Another major pitfall to avoid is to want to impress the examiner inside the exam hall. The examiner will probably not pass the same exam in regulation time if he's confronted. That is why it's a professional exam. But these exams have been tested with real students. And if you understand what you need to write to get your mark, it helps you a lot. I once asked a Chinese student in my class, why is it that Chinese people who do not speak good English, why is it that they become prize winners in law when there are people who come from English-speaking countries who are failing? And she told me the reason is that they know too much, that we don't know a lot. All we are trying to do is to answer the question that the examiner has said. So make sure that you answer the question that the examiner has said. And there's no better way than to go back to your past examiner's questions. In ICAN, I think you have something called ICAN Pathfinders, and resources like that, which you can use to know the mind of the examiner, to know the way things are approached. Don't just come there doing your own thing in your own way, because these professional exams, they have standards, and you are expected to bring that knowledge of that standard to bear when you're answering questions.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that, Mr. Victor. Speaking of past questions, how important is practicing past exams or sample questions in exam? Femi, you want to take that? Is it very important to solve past questions, sample questions when you are preparing for an exam?
All right, thank you. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Yeah, so past questions is very, very important. Why? Because like Mr. Victor rightly said, you are going to know how the mindset of the examiner. Now, the more you solve past questions, the more you're going to get yourself familiar with the way the examiner wants you to answer a particular question. Now, let's take audit and assurance as a case study now. So many students fail audit and assurance, not because they don't know audit and assurance, but one of the reasons why they fail audit and assurance is because they don't know how to answer. Now, let's say an examiner is asking a question on internal control. Now, most of the students will just list out what they know about internal control. But the examiner, once you have solved so many questions on audit and assurance, and you have seen a particular question on internal control before, you would have seen the way the examiner wants you to answer that particular question. So when you are now meeting that kind of question in the examination, you already know the mind of the examiner, and you are going to be able to think wide. For performance management, there are different ways at which the examiner can set a question on relevant costing. So if you don't solve past questions and you feel you already understand what relevant costing means, when you get to the examination, the examiner might just add a little glitch or a little addition to the question, and before you know it, you will get stuck. So the more you practice past questions, the more you get familiar to the way the examiner sets questions and what is expected of you. So even in life, we all use past questions. Now, the people of the Christian faith, Bible is like their past question. That's why they have read what have happened, so they're using it to live their own life. Same thing, you have people with experience that you are learning from. So once you solve past questions, one of the things you're going to learn is also that you're going to see where you have pitfalls and where you are struggling. Let's say I'm solving a question on relevant question and I'm trying to solve past questions on it. And I have seen myself that I'm struggling with a particular topic under relevant question. I'm going to be able to tackle it because I have solved past questions. But if I just go to the examination of because I have read it without solving questions, when I get to the exam of the struggle that I would have had because I solved past questions, then I'll start struggling in the examination of. So the more we solve past questions, the better we get prepared. Yeah, you already have an understanding of what you've read. Now, what is expected of you? You're going to know it once you solve past questions. And past questions is also going to, is one of the sure ways after you've understood it to win prize. Like, I can't undermine what past questions can do for you. The more you solve past questions, the more you get familiar to what the examiner wants from you. And I can tell you that you won't just pass, you won't score 50. You're scoring 60, 70, and 80. Thank you.
It's the confidence for me. Thank you so much, Femi. Thank you to all of our panelists. So we have a couple of questions from the audience that I've collated. However, we will not be able to take everything. But there's a particular question that was directly pointed to Femi. So the person says that Femi kindly states ways to overcome fears created by consistent failure. I mean, the person has failed over time and the person is struggling. Is there any advice? How can the person overcome fear?
All right. Thank you. So I understand the question because I have also failed before. Coming from university where you're like a star boy, I can't fail a course. Then you get to ICAN, you fail. You're like, what's happening? So my advice to the person is first understand that you're not a failure. I think when you realize that you are not a failure, then the thought of you being a failure will be removed from your mind. It is when we accept being a failure, that's when we have accepted defeat. Just know that this is a phase of your life that is going to get, you're going to overcome it. So the first thing is first realize and understand and accept the fact that because you fail a particular course, that does not mean you are a failure. Now, the next thing you need to do now is to now check retrospectively, why did I fail? Now, so many people that think they are failure, they fail because they haven't prepared well. Now, you started preparing like 2 or 3 days to the examination of you fail, then you're now calling yourself a failure. The reason why you fail is because you didn't prepare adequately. So you can't call yourself a failure now. It's because you haven't given it the amount of time you're supposed to give it. That's why you have failed that course. And because you failed, it does not mean you are a failure. So you need to check yourself retrospectively. What did I do? Okay, did I attend lectures? Okay, yes, I attended lectures. Was the lecture and the lecture I attended, was it effective? If it was effective, how did I receive the lecture? Is it that once I receive the lecture, when I get home, I don't go back to what I have been taught? I just assume I understand it. Then you're trying to understand the reasons why you failed. Now, that means the reasons why you failed is because you didn't approach and you didn't give it the amount of time you're supposed to give to it. So, for example, now for footballers and athletes, they have been, Usain Bolt said when he runs for 9 seconds, that what people just see is the 9 seconds. That they can't see the number of years he has been training in order for him to run for 9 seconds. So you can't just come and prepare for 2 days and fill a paper and think you are a failure. The first thing is to even tackle that mindset that you're not a failure. Then check retrospectively, what can I do different? You can't be using same approach and expect different results. Once you've seen that you failed a particular course more than once, then you need to check your approach. Try to speak to people who you think are knowledgeable in that field so they can also guide you. And I can't also undermine what Simeon has said earlier and what Mr. Victor said on accountability partner. When you have an accountability partner, let's assume he has passed that particular paper, he'll be able to tell you that, guy, it's because you didn't prepare early or you thought you understood it. Or maybe it's because you didn't even solve past questions to even get familiar with those questions. So let me just reiterate them again. Understand that you're not a failure. Change your approach. Same approach cannot give you different results. Have an accountability partner. And then pray to God. I can't underline that. Pray to God. Then there is this particular product that becoming a chartered accountant is even giving people now. It is Grow Light. With that particular application, I'm telling you, you are going to be able to score yourself before your examination. So the app is going to help you to know your preparation, level of preparation, in the sense that after like a month, you're going to write a test. Then you can test how prepared you are for that particular paper. So just tell yourself you're not a failure. Change your approach. Then have accountability partners. Then the Grow Light app that is going to be launched today, use it, and I can tell you that that failure mindset is going to be a story. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Words of wisdom. Thank you so much. Thank you, Simeon. Thank you, Mr. Victor. Thank you, Femi. Our time is fast spent. Unfortunately, we'll not be able to take all of your questions. But I would like our panelists to give me a punchline. I want just one liner. I don't want sentences. Just give me one liner that these people can take home. That okay, even if they've not listened all of the time, but this your one liner is going to do something in them. It's going to reframe, it's going to orientate them towards their exam. Please, your one liner. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, mine will be if I can, you can. If I can
Okay.
win prize, you can win prize. If I can, you can.
Okay. Mr. Simeon.
Okay, my usual word. I think what I have to for everyone is just always have that hustle spirit, right? Hustle. With that spirit, you won't go back to write that paper. Yeah.
Hustle. All right. Mr. Victor, your one liner.
The key to becoming a chartered accountant is practice, practice, practice. There's no shortcuts.
Amazing. You have heard it all, my ladies and gentlemen. There is no shortcut to ICAN. There's no shortcut to success. The key is for you to prepare, practice, and do as much as you can. And I pray that God will help you in Jesus' name. Uh
Yeah.
moving this to the convener of this session, Sean Daniels, if you're ready, we are ready to have you with us. Thank you so much, my panelists. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you so much, Timmy. Thank you, Simeon. Thank you, Femi. Thank you, Mr. Victor. Really appreciate you guys taking your time to be here. And we're about wrapping up, and we are done with this panel session. Thank you so much. We would like to just know people's response. I mean, what people learned. What was the key thing you learned about this session? So I think all the panelists can just leave now. Thank you so much, Simeon. We're really grateful. And Femi and Mr. Victor will reach out to you. Right. So we just want to know from the audience, what was the key thing that stood out for you? Let's know what did you really enjoy about this? What new thing did you learn? Oh, I can see Fresh Art Gallery. If I can, you can. Yes, I agree. If I can, you can. I mean, if somebody can go ahead and fail an exam before and also be an ICAN award winner, then you can do it. Right? There's no need for you to be scared or think that you can. So media, please let's just see the comments. Yeah, Joy is saying thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you for staying to this time. Kemi is saying if they can, we can. Yes. Gift is saying have an hustling spirit. Grace is saying practice and have accountability partner. And I think that's people have said that a lot, right? Oluwapolumi is saying thank you so much for the sessions. Yeah, Taiwo is saying you're not a failure. I totally agree. Adekoya is saying start reading early. Yes, start reading early. Olamide says no shortcuts. Practice, practice, practice. Thank you so much, Mr. Victor. And I think it was really a good session. I didn't Ademiola Benga is saying motivation. I agree. You need motivation. Practice. There's no other shortcut. Do not procrastinate. Oh, Divine is saying you learned a lot today. Thank you so much for staying. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram. Yeah, Corey is saying you're not a failure. John is saying thank you for this session. Please just stay behind. We'll just take the next 5-10 minutes. We have some two big announcements to make. So I mean, I'm sure you'll be excited about it. Fabanwo is saying change approach, attack full force. Yeah, no, Sarah is saying no procrastination. I learned how to have a hustling spirit. Yes, I totally agree. And you know that, I mean, thank you for everybody for your responses. Ozazi, I can see you prepare early. Yes, I agree. You know, there's always, and I really thank all the speakers, all the panelists for saying their mind and saying the right things. I know that there's always that gap between, oh, heard a lot, you've learned a lot. I mean, I heard a lot of things about reading daily. I heard a lot of things about having an effective reading plan. I had a lot of things about having an accountability partner. I have a lot of things about starting your preparation early. But sometimes there's always that there's always that gap between, oh, now I know what to do, and how will I do it? There's always that gap. How will I do it? How will I do it? And for me, I also experienced that. Please just stay with me next 5 minutes, right? And also experience that theme where you want to do something but you can't do it. Procrastination sometimes can be a spirit. You want to do it but you're not able to make out, and you think that you're so busy. But trust me, people with more busier schedules have been able to make out time to it. So the question is, how do we now get them? How do we get yourself to read? How do we get you to make your plan? How do we get you? And even for a while now, I've been working with Femi and a couple of other people, and we've been trying to find out ways to actually make people to actually do what they need to do, right? And now we're really excited to show you something that we believe that we know because we've tested it a lot of times, that helps you to that gives you that support, right? If you hear things around reading daily, accountability, um preparing early, everything is support, because you need people to remind you. You need people to let you know what you need to do at the right time, and you need to get reminders. So we built Growlight, right? Is a web app, right? You can use it on your laptops, on your mobile, right? And it's like it's a personalized study app, just to keep you on track. So you can set your reading goals, you can set your reading plans, you can get notifications and reminders and emails on your time you want to read. Also, you also have an accountability partner, someone you can chat with. And before the end of the day, we're going to have study groups on it, where if you're taking advanced audits, you come to the group, people will solve questions, you will listen, you put your input, study groups that will help you towards your exam. So those are the things we are doing. Just it's like your support system. So anytime you think about ICAN or your ACCA or any exam, just think about GoLight, because we're trying to help you. And the media will be playing it shortly. So it's just to help you, prepare for your exam, right? And now we have a 14 days trial for you to, like, it's not just even trying it out, for you to see that it works, right? And because of everything that we understand happening, we decided that, you know what, instead of making it's just a one fee, instead of making it just expensive, right? Maybe 15K, right? So we slashed our price from 15K to 5K, right? And you media, please, if you're there, please just play the video. So you'll see the video on how Go Live works. And we also have another announcement after the video, which I also explain. So media will
Tosin is currently at the professional level of her ICAN exams. Over the years, she has attended different lecture centers, watched several tutorial videos, and used different textbooks to prepare. However, to her surprise, she had a score of 22 at her 7th attempt of SFM. At this point, you're wondering, Tosin exhausted all her ideas on how to pass her exam, and I get it. But fortunately, she heard of the Growlight platform and decided to sign up and assess why she failed and how to prepare better to pass subsequent papers. From the result of her assessment, she was surprised that she had a bad studying strategy, poor concentration, poor time management, lack of motivation, and a lot of anxiety. Growlight recommended a 2-hour reading time for Tosin, where she reads daily and consistently with the help of reminders and her accountability partner, which is good. Now, Growlight has also tracked her progress on the syllabus by giving standardized tests to check her exam readiness. And with this, you know what it is. She aced her professional exams. Now, what is this Growlight all about? You see, Growlight is a personalized study app, specially designed to meet the study needs of aspiring chartered accountants like yourself and help them improve their chances of passing their professional exams. If you sign up on Growlight now, you get access to a 14-day free trial to use the Growlight app to track your progress. That's not all. You also qualify to apply to get a scholarship for your next ICAN exam. Now, click on the Apply for a Scholarship Today tab on the Growlight app. The higher your streaks and exam readiness, the higher your chance of winning the scholarship. So, sign up now at app.ourgrowlight.com. Growlight is a personalized study app specially designed to meet the study needs of aspiring chartered accountants and help them improve their chances of passing their professional exams. If you sign up on Growlight now, you'll get access to a 14-day free trial to use the Growlight app to track your progress. That's not all. You also qualify to apply to get a scholarship for your next ICAN exam. Now, click on the Apply for a Scholarship Today tab now. The higher your streaks and exam readiness, the higher your chances of winning the scholarship. Sign up now at app.ourgrowlight.com. You'll be glad.
All right, everyone. Thank you for staying. And I've been seeing your comment. Thank you for staying and listening. And like we said, we just launched Grow Light, right? So please go up to it, look at it. I mean, sign up, right? And you also have the opportunity to use our 14 days free trial, right? So I mean, it basically helps you to plan your reading. You have a calendar. You get reminders. I mean, you won't be able to forget your reading. Your accountability partner will always be there for you, right? They're also, I mean, we're also going to track how ready you are for the exam. So because you don't want to just read and go into the exam and fail, we're going to help you track, right? And also, just like we said, I mean, we have scholarships. So we've partnered with a couple of chartered accountants that have qualified, fellow chartered accountants that have qualified some years ago and decided to, I mean, to help people that are struggling, that have financial needs in preparing for their exam or paying for their ICAN exam. So they will be paying for certain people, right? ICAN exams, this diet, right? I know it's really exciting. I mean, we partner with a lot of people and we're still getting more responses every day. So we're going to have at least nothing less than 10, 20 slots. So just go ahead, go to app.ourgolive.com and sign up, right? And just to say, right, I mean, thank you all for staying, and we'll soon be wrapping up, right? And I mean, it's really important to take the chances to improve yourself, right? It's really important to take the chances to improve yourself because I mean, you can't do everything alone. Don't think you can do everything alone. Even if you can, sometimes you might get tired, right? Just look at this event that we have here. Why didn't I just come and speak? Obviously, I don't know everything everybody knows. Do you understand? We had Mrs. Abiodun, we had NG, we had Richard, we had Simeon, we had Victor, we had Femi. Different people with different experiences, right? And we've been working for over. I mean, doing this will be happening annually to help people understand how best they can pass the ICAN exam. So even if you are not an accountant, even if you studied economics, even if you are not sure, I mean, jump on our app, use it. You will now understand how that it is easy to actually be consistent. So the idea is just to be consistent, just to be oh, I'm seeing Ugochi saying she signed up. Please, if you signed up, let us just know. Um please let's see the comments from Able Julia. Julia is saying there's no shortcut to success. Practice, practice, practice. Ugochi is saying you have signed up. Yeah, thank you. Chris is saying don't fear, believe in yourself. I totally agree. Wisdom is saying, Olamide is saying nice initiative. Yes, please sign up on app.golai.com and immediately I will just put the URL so that you can go on your laptop, tell your friends about it. If you want to prepare for your exam, if you want to make sure that you do not forget when to read, how to read. So sometimes you think that you have a busy 9 to 5 and oh, you're not able to make out 1 hour. I mean, if you section your time well, which will help you to, you can also make out 1 hour or 30 minutes. You just need to do it daily, like Femi has said and all the speakers have said, just need a daily reading. So please sign up. Please let me know if you signed up while I'm looking. Yeah, the link, yes, well, the link is there. I just pinned the link to sign up at app.ourgolive.com to sign up. Just sign up. You have a 14-day trial, free trial. Um, please, media, please let's see other comments. Yeah, Erica is saying practice make talent. No, so it's not on the app store, it's on web app. Just use your phone, your browser, either your laptop or your phone or your tab or anything that you like to use, right? That's where you will see it. Yeah, I'm also seeing let's yeah, that's the URL. I've dropped the URL, app.golai.com. Yes, make sure that you sign up, make sure that you check it, make sure that you use it, right? It's not just something you need to check, something that you need to use daily. It's your study partner for your exams. Yes, Nancy is saying failure is not an option. So lastly, let's just get responses. Are we signed up? If you signed up, let us know. Yes, you have opportunity to. If you know anybody struggling to pass, I mean to pay for his ICAN exams or any of our ICAN exams, let us know. And I hope you are excited about the scholarship opportunity. I'm not seeing any comments on that. No, it's not on iOS, it's just on web. You can use your web browser on your phone, either your Google Chrome or your browser, right? Yes, please. So media will just play the two videos one more time, then we'll just wrap up. Thank you, Kendi. I can see your comments. Thank you for the opportunity. Yes, Nancy, please sign up and tell your friends. Yes, it's a web app. So the media will play the two videos now again. Then we'll just take some final thoughts before we wrap up.
Tosin is currently at the professional level of her ICAN exams. Over the years, she has attended different lecture centers, watched several tutorial videos, and used different textbooks to prepare. However, to her surprise, she had a score of 22 at her 7th attempt of SFM. At this point, you're wondering, Tosin exhausted all her ideas on how to pass her exam, and I get it. But fortunately, she heard of the GrowLight platform and decided to sign up and assess why she failed and how to prepare better to pass subsequent papers. From the result of her assessment, she was surprised that she had a bad studying strategy. Poor concentration, poor time management, lack of motivation, and a lot of anxiety. GrowLight recommended a 2-hour reading time for Tosin, where she reads daily and consistently with the help of reminders and her accountability partner, which is good. Now, GrowLight has also tracked her progress on the syllabus by giving standardized tests to check her exam readiness. And with this, you know what it is. She aced her professional exams. Now, what is this GrowLight all about? You see, GrowLight is a personalized study app specially designed to meet the study needs of aspiring chartered accountants like yourself and help them improve their chances of passing their professional exams. If you sign up on GrowLight now, you'll get access to a 14-day free trial to use the GrowLight app to track your progress. That's not all. You also qualify to apply to get a scholarship for your next ICAN exam. Now, click on the Apply for a Scholarship Today tab on the GrowLight app. The higher your streaks and exam readiness, the higher your chance of winning the scholarship. So, sign up now at app.ourgrowlight.com.
Yes, and just to say, right, forgot to say initially, and the more you use the app, the better chance you have in actually winning the scholarship. And there are real scholarships throughout the week. We will be seeing flyers of some of the people that are sponsoring it. Although some people would like to remain anonymous, but we'll be showing that, right? And we know we had a lot of questions coming, and thank you so much everybody for your participation. We had a lot of comments, a lot of questions. We'll be collecting those answers and sharing on our Telegram. We'll try to do that within the next couple of weeks, right? So we just want to say thank you to everybody. Yeah, Kaira, is not on Play Store. Just go straight to your web. Either you use Google Chrome, right? Yeah, Afiz is saying the scholarship is going to go a long way. Let's see Afiz comment to reduce the burden. Yes, and just make sure you apply. Make sure you fill your form. We have just 15 days after July 15. The scholarship you won't be able to apply again. So this is the best opportunity to apply. Tell your friends you need to apply. Yes, Obi Emeka, you say procrastination has made you not to enroll for this professional exam, for this seminar. Yes, do the needful, please. Yes, Obi Emeka, I agree. Procrastination should not hold you down. You have so much to achieve. And before you know, you can be in bigger places, working in Big Four, working in other places, and you'll be surprised how much you can even achieve, right? Yes, Afiz, I totally agree with you. Yes, gift. Yes, ATS. You definitely see ATS 3 shortly. Yes. Jagada is saying, does he have a past question? Not really past questions, right? The study pack is there, and he also has questions to test your exam readiness. Because the idea is I want to be sure that you're actually ready to. So please don't forget, apply for the scholarship, tell your friends, use our 14 days trial, and get ready for your exam. All right. Thank you, everyone. And please don't forget to sign up. All right. Thank you, everybody. So maybe I'll just play the video.
GrowLight is a personalized study app specially designed to meet the study needs of aspiring chartered accountants and help them improve their chances of passing their professional exams. If you sign up on GrowLight now, you'll get access to a 14-day free trial to use the GrowLight app to track your progress. That's not all. You also qualify to apply to get a scholarship for your next ICAN exam. Now, click on the Apply for a Scholarship Today tab now. The higher your streaks and exam readiness, the higher your chances of winning the scholarship. Sign up now at app.ourgrowlight.com. You'll be glad. GrowLight is a personalized study app specially designed to meet the study needs of aspiring chartered accountants and help them improve their chances of passing their professional exams. If you sign up on GrowLight now, you'll get access to a 14-day free trial to use the GrowLight app to track your progress. That's not all. You also qualify to apply to get a scholarship for your next ICAN exam. Now, click on the Apply for a Scholarship Today tab now. The higher your streaks and exam readiness, the higher your chances of winning the scholarship. Sign up now at app.ourgrowlight.com. You'll be glad. Tosin is currently at the professional level of her ICAN exams. Over the years, she has attended different lecture centers, watched several tutorial videos, and used different textbooks to prepare. However, to her surprise, she had a score of 22 at her 7th attempt of SFM. At this point, you're wondering, Tosin exhausted all her ideas on how to pass her exam, and I get it. But fortunately, she heard of the GrowLight platform and decided to sign up and assess why she failed and how to prepare better to pass subsequent papers. From the result of her assessment, she was surprised that she had a bad studying strategy, poor concentration, poor time management, lack of motivation, and a lot of anxiety. GrowLight recommended a 2-hour reading time for Tosin, where she reads daily and consistently with the help of reminders and her accountability partner, which is good. Now, GrowLight has also tracked her progress on the syllabus by giving standardized tests to check her exam readiness. And with this, you know what it is. She aced her professional exams. Now, what is this GrowLight all about? You see, GrowLight is a personalized study app specially designed to meet the study needs of aspiring chartered accountants like yourself and help them improve their chances of passing their professional exams. If you sign up on GrowLight now, you'll get access to a 14-day free trial to use the GrowLight app to track your progress. That's not all. You also qualify to apply to get a scholarship for your next ICAN exam. Now, click on the Apply for a Scholarship Today tab on the GrowLight app. The higher your streaks and exam readiness, the higher your chance of winning the scholarship. So, sign up now at app.ourgrowlight.com.